Vineet Nair. Welcome to MaxEd Talk the Walk. Today we have with us Mr. Sharan Sai, Chief Business Relations and Public Relations, Hocomoco. So this is how I spelled Hocomoco. Now I think we should ask Mr. Sharan, what is this Hocomoco? So welcome Mr. Sharan to MaxEd Talk the Walk. And so my first question would be like, why this name Hocomoco and what does it mean?
So this is actually a very interesting question, which people keep asking us. But some of them asked us if it's a Japanese name. You know, it sounded Japanese, Hocomoco, but it actually stands for Home Construction and Monitoring Company.
So I got it right. I was guessing it, so I got it right.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I mean, I agree that, you know, it's usually a little difficult for people to kind of recollect the name, but over a period of time, it's going to be a brand where people will recognize us as something, a home building brand as such. Just like we want the name to become the brand itself. So that is the reason we had to choose a name like this, Hocomoco. So
you're based out of Hyderabad, or?
Yes, we are based out of Hyderabad, and the company started in the first half of 2018, and since then we had garnered good amount of clients, almost 35 clients just in Hyderabad. So we have been working with multiple partners like who are involved in the construction industry, also material partners who are the regular suppliers for us. So since then, we have established ourselves strongly in Hyderabad, and we have been catering to a large independent homeowners. So very soon we are also planning to expand to different cities.
That's
like
great.
Vizag and Bangalore. Yes,
that's great. That's great. So, when I was going through your website, and I was just trying to understand what Hocomoco does. So, I could see the 4 T's. Okay, the four T's on which the core principle stands. So, can you just tell us more about the 4 T's and what are the core principles that Hocomoco stands for?
So, there are the 4 T's are few things on which basis we deliver our services to our customers. You know, the 4 T's are trust, transparency, tracking, and time, which are very, very important when we are building a home. Because be it time or the trust the customer puts on us, or the kind of transparency which we enable the customers to have, or be it the tracking, the construction tracking process which the customer has access to. These are the few things which makes us stand out. Because until now, the construction segment itself, specifically for independent homeowners, has been very much unorganized. And there are a lot of players like subcontractors, and there are individual professionals like carpenters, then electricians who are involved into a home building process. So we thought we should make it much more easier for a common man to build home, and for that it is very important for us to gain their trust first, because we are some company, we are a new company, and when we are trying to talk to a customer, we have to own their vision, how they want their home, and it should not be their home, it has to be our home. So that is how we build that trust within ourselves, and with the customers which we work with. And talking about time, which comes next, because the customer wants the house in specific duration, and there are a lot of things, external factors like maybe COVID pandemic and etc., which are coming in between the timelines, and trying to they disturb the entire construction timeline. So irrespective of such external factors where we cannot help with, other than that, we aim to deliver the projects in speculated time, and we promise the timeline. And if we cross the timeline, we pay the rent to the customer. So this is the kind of time promise which we give. And at the same time,
I think that's a real great great onus on the company also, because it is a hard-earned money of the people which goes into residential projects. And timelines and the tracking mechanism becomes all the more important.
Exactly. And because why time is very important, every month a project gets delayed, there is a cost overrun of approximately 0.8 to 1% of the total project cost. Assuming a project cost is 1 crore, every 1 month's delay might increase the cost by say 1 lakh to 1.5 lakh. So it's definitely an additional burden onto a customer who has pre-planned his budget for a specific home with maybe a financial partner like a bank or anything else. So we think it's very important for us to follow the timelines. And next, we focus on the transparency, which is one of the main things what customers look forward to, along with the timeline and the delivery, etc. Because we are very clear about what we use, starting from the foundation, the footings, and then the slab, then the interior structure, everything. So the customer gets a clean cut detail of each and every product which we use. We tell the customers clearly before even signing the contract. We give them a list. They also have flexible options where they can opt for different products as well, which can be used in their homes. So this is the transparency part which I was talking about. And finally, once we have gained the trust, we have signed the contract, then comes the construction process, during which the customer has to be aware of what's happening on the site. Like, is the laborer doing the footings part, or what exactly is happening? Because these days, working professionals do not have time to go visit their site on a regular basis, get updates, and then come back and check everything. So that is where we step in, and we have e-monitoring facility to our customers, wherein they can track their construction process regularly. They can compare what was the last week's progress and what's this week progress with the images. We provide time lapse videos, so that it's a great experience for a customer to look at a video like that, because it's this nostalgic feeling of seeing your own house being built from foundation. Yeah, and you could pass it on to your next generation as as something which they can remember. So this is where the tracking comes. And that is the reason these 4 T's are very, very important for us. And whatever we do, whatever we deliver, or whatever we aim to, expand our services into, it will be within this.
So in turn, these 4 T's are also your positioning statements, basically.
Yes, definitely. I mean, if somebody asks me, how are you different? Definitely, I'm going to explain them all this. And I was very impressed by the concept of Hocomoco myself when I first, came through the startup. So at the same time, a lot of the second generation, my parents, or the elderly generation, a lot of them do not have time right now. They're either busy in business, or they're either busy at their jobs. So we try to stand out with all these propositions we have.
That's a great thought. And so these are, when you talk about the services that Hocomoco is offering. So you have been talking about monitoring the project, tracking the project. Are there
Yes.
any other services which are being offered?
So we offer end-to-end services for somebody who's looking to build a house. Okay, it could be structural designing, architectural designing. Then we recently entered into VR space, wherein the customer can actually see their house before it's being built. So they can actually experience each and every room, see what is being fit into the wall, have a look at the hardware, everything. So we started offering VR services to our customer. Then we offer interiors and then smart homes. And for customers who are just looking to have monitoring services separately, wherein the customer is gonna tell us and bring the material. We just monitor the construction process entirely, which is called EMS, Engineering and Monitoring Services. So these are few services which we are offering. Along with all this, we also take care of the legal process. The permissions and the other hassles which are involved.
It means end-to-end solutions, basically.
Completely
Complete solutions.
end-to-end solutions. it's a lot of services which we are offering actually, because there are companies which offer specific services like painting or carpentry or electrician, but it is we are offering a home as an entire package. So that is what we do.
So your focus is primarily residential projects only, or you're into commercial projects as well?
So no, actually, we have a combination of projects, and we do not have a specific line, where we draw ourselves and we stay in. So earlierly, we kind of focused more on the independent, houses projects, but we started getting more of even commercial projects as well. Like we completed a hotel project, which is going to be taken up by Stanza Living very soon in Hyderabad. And next, we are building another very huge block, which is approximately 25,000 to 30,000 square feet, which is considered as a commercial building. So, we are taking off different kinds of projects. It's not specific to one kind, because we just want to make everybody's life easier, not just homeowners. So
So what I understand is, okay, you're getting into residential projects, you're into commercial projects as well. So my next question to you would be like, what is the target segment that you're catering to? Because when I hear the type of services that are being offered, like a VR service, monitoring service, so definitely these are all add-ons to a typical housing project. So definitely there will be a cost aspect attached to it, and
definitely.
it is not like, okay, everybody can afford. That's also one side of it. So, which is
Yes.
the target segment that you're catering to?
So, I mean, generally speaking, our target is somebody who owns a plot and wants to build, whatever structure they want to. But we actually tailor make, the offering to any customer who comes to us. For example, we do not just say that, we'll only deal luxury kind of villas and, move with that, because based on the customer's budget, and based on whatever material he wants to use in the house, be it the economy way of building a house or a medium level products, if we use, then it's going to be a different pricing. Then if the customer completely opts for a luxury house, like with Italian marble and expensive lights which are imported. So uh, it's, since house is a very big thing, and each house is like a ticket size for us, so every ticket size is extremely huge. So we definitely have to custom make everything, and we don't have any fixed pricing as such, and it is really hard to determine who we cater to and who we don't. So that is the reason earlier I said anybody who owns a plot and wants to build something or a structure, be it residential or commercial, will be our target.
So,
And
it would be like medium, what do you call a mid-income segment or a higher income segment. It can be catered to anybody.
exactly, it can be catered to anybody. And our team is going to prepare a custom made quotation for whatever kind of project you want. So that's how we get more customers in, and that's how we kind of clock in more revenues in terms of the number of projects. So if we just stick to specific kind of projects, then it's really hard to target, or it's really hard to find specific segment of people when we are trying to solve a problem which is very big, and where we are trying to address a large number of audience. So
So, like, how do you put it? Like, say, for example, I want to make a house, okay, and so I might have different options. Like, I can go to an
yes,
engineer or an architect, or I can probably get the sketches and I can build up on my own, because the different parts of a housing project I can outsource it. So, like, how do you see it? Like with Hocomoco and without Hocomoco, like, what is the advantage a typical customer will be getting? I got the services from your side, but still
yes.
with Hocomoco and without Hocomoco, like, how does it work?
So it's like there are so many departments which are involved when you are constructing a home, and you might tell me that you are going to go to an architect, get some drawings, and then start executing the project. But then the actual hassle starts. Getting the drawings from the architect is just maybe like the tip of the iceberg, wherein people can just do things on emails. You can get the drawings, and yeah, you're done there. But post that, when you have to get the permissions, you have to apply for permissions, then you do not know if you have connections within the office, or within the municipality, then it's easy for you. But what if you do not? Then after clearing the permissions, then you have to scout for few people, subcontractors or the masons, who are going to kind of give you a quotation. Then for comparing the quotations, by getting to know all the specifications they're going to offer, it's going to be hell's ride for somebody.
And
Because
probably time consuming also, right? Like you go and
definitely,
yeah. It's like
definitely
you go and buy vegetables from the market. You buy something from some place, something from the other place, and it takes a hell lot of a time.
Exactly. And assuming Hocomoco, without Hocomoco, a customer would end up spending more than 12 to 18 months approximately to build a house. But with Hocomoco, that's cut short. That's cut short to specific timeline which we give for a specific project. So that is the value which we are adding over here. And the customer does not have to run from post to post, trying to get the services done, because we constantly update the customer on what's happening. We tell the customer who's working on what, and we tell the customer what kind of material we're using, and we are charging the final price, which is not going to change. So it's like booking a cab, knowing what you're paying, and done. It's done with it. But before, you have to haggle with a lot of cab drivers. One says 500, one says 1,000. You get annoyed at sometimes. When it rains, it's a price. When it doesn't rain, it's another price. So this is like 10 times multiplied when you're building a home. Like, this happens with like literally every person. You talk to an electrician, he tells something else. And if you go
And
to the
midway he may leave and go as well.
exactly. And I have seen this with my live experience. And one of my friend's cousin, he was trying to build a house, and the subcontractor has taken an advance of 1.5 lakhs, and he absconded. And then he came to Hocomoco. We have such cases like this where we feel happy to help them, and at the same time, they're also happy that it's not going to happen again with their home building process. You will absolutely have no idea who's going to run away when we give money, and specifically when some subcontractor leaves a project in between, there is very less chance that another subcontractor is going to take it up. And even if he's going to take it up, he's going to shoot up the price. He thinks he's the only option you are left with. So obviously you are cheated, and the customer goes through a hell of it's not a friendly experience. The customer has to remember the process, and he has to feel happy when he's building a house. When the house is
And
over,
I think with transparency, as you were talking about 4 Ts,
yes,
I think accountability is also coming in when you talk about with Hokomoko. And
yes,
accountability, okay, you are paying some to a company which is accountable to you. And when you said that, okay, the revenue, you will be paying rent if the whole project is getting delayed. So that
exactly.
sort of a thing is also coming in.
100%. I mean, if somebody runs away, there's nobody who you can approach. But we want to stand as a brand, irrespective of whoever is working under us, be it any professional who's involved in home construction. Something goes wrong, the customer's point of contact will be Hocomoco. It's like a brand. And we do not want the customer to go through all the hassle of running around talking about problems to people. We will be the straight point of contact. We will internally take care what has to be done and how the problem can be solved. So this is what we want to do. Exactly. Accountability is something which we give a lot of importance to. And that is the reason we felt this solution was extremely relevant.
You're using too much of technology, and technology has been has been playing a major role in the construction industry. Like for example, use of VR or to enhance the customer experience, or use of AI and ML in the future. So how has technology even cut down the construction risks? What do you feel about it?
So, I mean, until few years ago as well, the construction was a very much manual process. Until unless you are extremely experienced in whatever you have done or the construction, you wouldn't be able to tell how much quantities are required, what kind of quantities are required, and the technical aspects I can tell you about. When building a house or maybe a complex or something. So. Technology has helped us in enhancing customer experience, coordinating with internal teams. Specifically, while building a house, we need to coordinate with a lot of them. So in that, and then making of schedules, because based on these schedules, we will know if the timeline is being pushed, or we could finish the project a few days earlier itself. And we are developing a material sourcing interface, wherein the requirements of all our projects are going to be accumulated, and our material partners can automatically supply the material when our interface automatically generates a purchase order. So in this way, we are trying to streamline the entire construction process with the help of technology. And coming days, we are also trying to develop our project management application, wherein we could coordinate everything in a single application. Right now, we do have a daily progress, application where the customer can actually have a look at all the details related to the project with this login details. And as I said, we are using VR to, show how things how things look when the building is over. So I could say, even during architecture development in the initial stages, we are trying to look for tools, technological tools, where we could cut down the time and generate the bill of quantities as soon as possible. Bill of quantities is the list of all the materials
Is
used
going to be
in the
used.
house, starting from sand to switches to any kind of hardware. It is going to generate how many tons, what is the price of each ton, and then what's the total cost. So the entire bill of quantities is going to give us the cost of all the materials. So earlier, this was not the same. Earlier, it was really difficult to estimate something like this. But for smaller projects, it's easy to approximate. It's going to be this much, maybe
Yeah.
10 lakhs to 15 lakhs. This is going to get over 15 lakhs to 20 lakhs. It was always like this. But there was no specific figure which we could arrive at precisely, at which we could execute a project. So this is how technology has aided us to in giving more value to what we give to the customers.
So at one end, it is going to minimize the construction risk that is involved. And what I got to understand from your talk is like it is also going to cut down the cost as well. Because what I understand is like when a company like Hocomoco takes multiple projects, and at one end you are trying to onboard the vendors, and you are what you call creating a project management system for them. So probably a concept of collective bargaining may also come into play, and probably that can
100%.
and that can be transferred to the customer, the end customer. The cost saving can be transferred to the end customer.
Exactly. I mean, just because we are taking the burden of building a house, it's not that we are going to overcharge the customers. So there is a stream of revenue which we get from materials as well. It ranges from 5% to 15%. And, you are absolutely right when it comes to collective bargaining. We kind of work with a lot of material partners. So they know the kind of demand, or the kind of supply they should be doing to us. So we do get better prices from different companies all across Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and sometimes even Karnataka. So that is where we have an advantage, be it even with the working professionals. If the electrician or the carpenter or the shuttering person who makes the slab shutters, everybody knows that they're going to get more and more business with us. And it's that makes our life more easier, and he's definitely going to listen to whatever we say. And there is a control over the quality, and the quality checks we run at the site. So this way we have a definite advantage, over whatever we do, whatever material we use. So that gives us, a step up over the subcontractors, whoever are in the existing construction segment.
That collective advantage will definitely go to the customers as well. So you'll be having more satisfied customers in the end.
Exactly. And as I told you, we want to deliver the best to our customers, and not by overpricing or overburdening them. And customer clearly knows what we are charging for whatever we are doing. So it's not that the customer is blindly coming to us, giving us a project and going. For a mobile phone, we search 10 websites easily. For a car, we go around 10 showrooms. For a house, which is the biggest project of a person's life, he's definitely not going to just let it off to some person or an entity without thinking of who they are. So that's the biggest responsibility which we are taking.
That's great. That's really great. So, what would be the role of a company like Hocomoco in the home building industry post COVID-19? Because there are a lot of social distancing, lockdowns are happening, unlock is happening, but still, there's a time which is being taken for the industry to move ahead. So, what would be the role of a company like Hocomoco post COVID-19?
So, as you said, a lot of people have, are stuck at homes as work from home. And as you said, the construction segment was slowed down during the COVID, but now it has come back. And at the same time, we do not want, the customers sometimes might not prefer to come to the site because of the social distancing fact, and
Distancing.
they would not want to go and touch around, have a look at everything. So we are trying to convey the entire data through our technology process, wherein we use e-monitoring, we use the daily progress report, and almost even the photos, as I told you, which come under the e-monitoring. Everything is directly sent to the customer, or the customer can log in and check all the details. So this makes life more easier for them, actually. And maybe they could come just once a month, when the work is at halt. They can have a look at the structure. Okay, everything is going to be fine, and then they go back. So even when we kind of employ masons or laborers who kind of mix the concrete when the slab is laid down, we are trying to use different methods like ready mix concrete to avoid too many people getting involved into the process. So that way, though the cost might shoot up a bit, it is more hygienic for
So
us.
you can save also.
Exactly. And we are cutting down on a lot of time, actually. If we use ready mix concrete, then we are finishing a single slab in almost 3 hours, 4 hours. But if it's going to be a hand mix, it's going to take an entire day.
Okay.
And you wouldn't even know how proportionate it is sometimes, because some parts of it get mixed properly, some part of it doesn't get mixed, and there are like too many people involved. They to put the cement sacks. A live construction site looks very messy,
Yeah.
because of the number of inputs which go into it. So we are trying to cut that down, and we are going to schedule things in such a way that when this work is going on, only that person is going to be involved over there doing that. It's not that some 10 odd people come and try to mix up their works, and we want to make sure all these safety measures are taken when the construction process is happening. So without Hocomoco, I'm not sure how the schedules go on
Will be,
and how the customer gets all his information on based on how the building work is going on. So these are the things which we think will add value to the customer, specifically after COVID-19. And we are trying to bring in a lot of new measures. So it's under process. COVID
That's good.
has completely not gone down. So we still have to be very careful and
It has
not take
transformed
risks.
but it has transformed the way we work, isn't it? It's a new challenge for
Exactly.
you also.
Exactly. I mean, all Zoom calls. So without Zoom, with Zoom.
With Zoom, yeah, it is like that. And like yeah, but we're still talking about technology. And so my last thing that I would like to ask you is, now, what are the like you just mentioned VR? Okay, VR being brought out for enhanced customer experience. Now, what are
Mhm.
the new construction technologies that you are what do you call you are foreseeing? Okay, that is going to give better value proposition to the customers in the future.
So, apart from whatever we have already developed, we are trying to see if we could speed up our architecture process by developing automatic building 3D modeling. So, when the architect gives inputs, rough inputs, it's going to develop an automatic 3D model, and based on that 3D model and the adjustments, a BOQ is going to be generated. Earlier, it's going to take almost 25 to 30 days for this entire process. But with this, it's gonna cut it. It's gonna come down to 1 week. So these are little. I mean, I can say minor technological additions which we are doing here and there, so that it's gonna bring a very big impact finally. You know, for example, if we earlier we used to promise assuming a customer of a 9 month timeline for his home, including interiors and etc. Now with the help of technology, we could cut it short very much. And be it interiors, VR has also has had huge impact because the customer knows everything. Like he knows, okay, change this wallpaper, change this headboard, it's not what I wanted. So the changes can be done very quickly, because earlier when we have to develop rough working drawings and everything, the customer does not have an idea like what material goes there, or what could be the quality of the material, or how it's going to look. And he goes on like to the catalogs of multiple products to just finalize the products. So like this way we are trying to cut down on the time specifically, and we are also trying different ways and partnerships to bring down the cost of the material by forecasting the material requirement for over the projects. It's because sometimes what happens is we expect 5 projects in 1 month, but we end up getting 6 7 projects. And post COVID, I could tell you we have seen more than what we expected, like the customers who are coming to us. So that is the reason we want to expand now, and in terms of employees and in terms of um, uh, you know regions. So to coordinate with different projects in terms of sites, in terms of what the engineer's input is, in terms of the material requirement, in terms of bringing down the cost of the material, and in terms of bringing down the time. So technology is helping us do all this. And specifically when we expand to different cities, it is very much necessary for us to keep a check on what's happening there, because when we are operating from Hyderabad, and we our site engineers cannot travel to that place almost every time. And uh, after all, engineer does all the entries manually. So it's really important for us to make sure all the checks happen, and for this we are again using technology. So there are a lot of things which come into the play, when we are trying to offer a wholesome house building
Solutions.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that that's a real good model, and like the whole conversation was so beautiful because
Yeah.
the way you are the Hocomoco is trying to address the concerns of the customers, and I think a lot of you are actually gone through what a customer experience is, because
Definitely.
the pain points of the customer, you're clearly bringing it out in your whole process. Because
Exactly.
as we started off earlier, we said that okay, it probably is once in his lifetime that a particular person might be building a house. And he has a lot of pain points, starting from getting a designer to an architect to what they call interior designing to a plumber to a mason. And there are a lot of these are all actually, I will describe it as pain points. So
Yes.
I think Hocomoco is doing a real good job in that particular front. And Mr. Sharan, it was a pleasure talking to you on this Talk the Walk, and to understand from you, like we have been reading about Hocomoco, but we wanted to know like how are things happening at Hocomoco? How are you bringing in technology integration? Because I think the future is going to be like this only. Like we call it as
Definitely.
remote handling of projects, and I think people will be
Remote
more
home
tuned to
building.
this remote home building. So and I think this is a perfect example, a perfect solution to their problems. So, Mr. Sharan, thank
100%.
you very much for coming for what they call speaking to us on MaxEd Talk the Walk. It was a pleasure hosting you here on the Talk the Walk, and I think all our viewers might have got a fair idea about how things are going out in Hocomoco, how they are expanding, and wish you all the very best. We could see that there is a lot of expansion that is happening. So, wishing Hocomoco all the very best, and probably we'll be at some point of time we'll be having a conversation again to talk about how
Yes.
Hocomoco is growing. So thank you very much, Mr. Sharan, for coming to Talk the Walk.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Dr. Vinit, because it's a really great opportunity for me as well to discuss this with you. Uh, at Hocomoco, we are trying to aggressively reach as much as people as possible, because sometimes people's problems go unaddressed because they do not know that somebody like us exists. You know, so through media, through interviews like this, through different featured articles on multiple media, news channels, and etc. We are trying to reach a lot of people. And even if 10 people watch this video and get to know how Hocomoco is doing its part in making the house making process simpler, I would be really, really happy. That's it. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you very
giving me
much.
this
Wishing you all the
opportunity.
best for your future endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.